Hey guys, welcome back to Let's Play Donkey Kong Country 2. We're going to move on to the 5th world, Gloomy Gulch, and the first level, Gusty Glade. Lots of G alliteration there, huh? So right out of the gate here, we got this little floaty thing up top that I love, because it's actually an enemy, but all he does is throw us a banana and leave. I don't know, maybe they're questioning their allegiances or something, trying to help us out after all, who knows, but this is World 5. It's often forgotten by a lot of people. When you think of Donkey Kong Country 2, like maybe you think of World 4 or something else, World 3, maybe one you get to earlier. But this one's actually one of my favorites. It's got some pretty interesting levels with interesting mechanics. The ghost ropes on this one are pretty cool. I like it a lot. And the sounds they make are good too. It's also got really good music, so it's kind of underrated in a lot of ways, but it's actually a really strong world and a pretty fun one to play. Yeah, so these ropes, you just gotta, of course, make sure they're there. And also, if you look very carefully at the bottom of the screen, you may see a barrel and a little bit of gold shimmering. That's because we can get the DK medal by dropping down there. It's a little bit tricky, but it's a trick they've pulled before, at least. So if you found it the first time, maybe you would remember it this time as well. And if we take this barrel and throw it against that wall, it'll reveal another bonus area, kind of Donkey Kong Country 1 style. It's always good when they go back to that. Now we'll have to find the token. Fortunately, there's not much searching. We've just got to hit this bee with a treasure chest over and over. And eventually we'll get what we're looking for. Maybe one more? There we go. So that hits an even 50 on the token count. We're doing pretty good there. And we've reached the halfway point. Oh, well, yeah, that was kind of bad, but those guys are kind of interesting. I think they're called Cloak, like K-L-O-A-K. Of course, everything starts with a K if you're a Kremling, but they're a pretty interesting enemy. We've seen them before, though, of course. So just time out the ghost ropes. It's pretty simple. It's a cool concept, but really not that hard to actually do and practice, you know? And again, very good atmospheric music. It works super well. So it's kind of a tricky section here. We've got these two ghost ropes that go away pretty quickly, so we're gonna have to time this well. And there we go. We can jump up to the bonus barrel. That one can be tough. You kind of have to anticipate the ropes appearing, jump a little bit before they're actually there. And this one is super simple. Just go as quick as you can. You'll get there in, what was that, 3 seconds, I think? So, pretty easy bonus game. The bonus games never really get hard. Some of them can be a little tricky, but in terms of like pure difficulty, it's really not that bad. Alright, got our partner back here. A couple TNT guys there. Watch out for that. Alright, let's make sure this rope is going to be there for us. There's a little circle there. There's got to be something there, right? Yep, there's the G. Invisible G. Watch out for the bees. That's pretty simple jumping. I love they just throw something and leave. They're the best. I wanted to get that coin, but I didn't want to hang out too long. And you can't hang out too long there, but fortunately, I think a coin is probably the best thing on that stand anyway, so might as well. You need them for saving and stuff like that, so. Alright, so that is everything in Ghostly Grove. Cranky is there to greet us immediately, but of course we will skip him, move on to Haunted Hall. Now this is kind of continuing on with the 4th world's theme of these little like skull cart things, but we're in a slightly different atmosphere this time. Looks like some kind of giant library or something, so. The trick you may have figured out. Now we're being chased by this like skeleton ghost thing. We're gonna have to hit the barrels with the green pluses and avoid the barrels with the red minuses and get through the gate in time. Of course, the green oh yeah, that's actually a pretty hidden little thing there. You gotta jump up on the wooden overhang in order to get to your first bonus game. And this is kind of a cool little sequence. You can see the coin actually appeared behind us. So we're gonna have to make our way all the way up here very slowly and hit the plus and then go backwards along these tracks. Get the coin. As you see, that'll actually send us out where we entered. So as we go backwards, whoop, we land there and go into yet another bonus game. That's a pretty cool little setup. It's a lot like the one in Croc Industries and Donkey Kong Country 1. It was kind of like 2 bonus games in one. It's kind of like that, except not exactly, you know, the same, but still kind of hidden that way. So we gotta get the stars. You don't have to collect all of them. I think it's possible to do that, but as you can see, I've still got plenty left by the time the coin popped up, so you don't have to worry about getting every single one. Just jump when you need to. Alright, so back on track. We've got to go through a number of these skeleton guys, and of course these tracks are going to get harder. Also, you can see the green pluses are only really giving us like 1 second there, so you gotta hit them all. You have room for generally one mistake. Usually the way it works, in some cases you can miss one green one and still be okay, depending on which one it is. Like if I had missed one of the 5-second ones in that section, I probably would have been screwed, but you can also sometimes hit one red barrel and still be just barely okay, but if you really make more than one mistake, then you're in a lot of trouble. Yeah, see, there's the one, but we should have just enough time. Yep, there we go. 2 seconds left, so I couldn't have hit one more. We actually wanted to go down there, so unfortunately I'm going to just die here. And we'll try that section again. It's kind of a tricky jump. You've got to jump way earlier than you think you should, and you also have to do like a low jump. Like that. You have to avoid the upper track. It's kind of a tough one. You may have to try it a few times. Alright, so this one's super quick. We got to keep up here. It's really easy to be taken by surprise on some of these jumps, so just, you know, test your reflexes, I guess. Make sure you're awake and prepared for that one. Alright, so yeah, these are going to start getting tricky. We're going to have to make sure to not, like, overcommit to things and end up hitting the red barrels accidentally. There we go. Got an extra life. That works for me. Oh, that one's kind of tricky. And so is that, yeah. It's really hard not to hit that red barrel at the end. But again, thankfully, you have room for a mistake, so it's not really too big of a deal. And we pretty much want to go over here to the left. That's a very well-hidden DK metal, but really, where else could it be when you think about it? Because the rest of the levels is on rails, so, you know, like, I don't know really where they would hide it in that case, but go ahead and get the DK metal there, hit the target, and we're good to go. So let's go to Gusty Glade, again with the G's. They're really stretching that here, aren't they? Yeah, so another interesting level here. We've got these kind of leaves blowing in the foreground. You think they might just be sort of decoration, but no, they actually indicate which way the wind is blowing. This is called Gusty Gulch. So in the direction the leaves are blowing is, of course, the direction the wind is going. So if you jump with the wind, you'll jump really far. If you jump against it, of course, you won't jump anywhere near as far. So thankfully, they don't try to screw you up here. This is a cool little section. Just jump on all the pillars. You get really rhythmic at it. You kind of get into like a, you know, you get into the zone here. So if you ever see a big gap, you can pretty much just jump and, you know, have faith. Okay, well, that's kind of tricky when the wind's blowing against you, but if you see a big gap, you can pretty much just jump and have faith that the wind will end up carrying you where you need to go. So we'll just hover over them this time. Alright, so we gotta go up here, get to this bonus barrel. You can see there is a no snake sign, so you can guess we're probably gonna get a snake in here. What do you think? Whoop, whoop. Okay. Well, maybe we didn't. Guess not. Oh well. So, I don't really know where that is, but maybe we will find out later, maybe we won't, who knows. Alright, avoid the cannon guy. Unfortunately, again, the wind is blowing against you, so it really holds you down quite a lot. I got a couple treasure chests here. I want to make sure we try... There we go. Because you want to get the upper chest, you want to make sure that you kill that guy first. So you can hit the lower guy with the chest that you get from up there. That'll give you the cannonball, which of course we're going to have to use to get here. So now to collect the stars, and again, pretty simple. Thankfully, you don't have to worry about the wind here. They can really mess with you if they have the wind like randomly shifting directions. Unfortunately, this one is kind of slow because you're going to have to go back and forth a lot to make sure you get them all. It can also be really easy to just miss the barrel and fall through. Oh, there we go. So they give you a lot of time though, so you can make a couple passes. You know, don't have to get it as quickly as I did or anything. And the wind is going to be rhythmically blowing back and forth here, so you want to make sure that you jump whenever the wind's blowing with you. Otherwise, you will fall to a very grisly fate and then get hit by a cannonball. But thankfully, even though she was running off the screen, she was still in that barrel, so I don't know, maybe they've perfected cloning technology. Wouldn't be surprised. Pretty smart monkeys. so let's be careful here. Yeah, we can get the DK metal if we jump from the top, and it's much easier to use Dixie if you want to do that, so you don't have to worry about like perfectly aiming your jump. You can kind of hover for a while. Now with this one, it's a little bit kind of deceptive. You actually want to shoot whenever the wind is not blowing, so that way you can move on to the next barrel in the sequence. Otherwise, it'll just toss you forward like who knows how far, and it's super easy to fall down there. Alright, so getting away from the kind of forest levels a bit here. This is Parrot Shoot Panic. We're going to go back to the beehive theme that we saw in World 4. So we want to fall here, and if we go to the left and just hold the direction, we can get the DK metal that's in that little alcove there. Now I've got these little purple squawks that for some reason are like genetically inferior in some way. Not that I'm, you know, racist against like purple parrots, but they can't fly like the green squawks can. They can't like shoot nuts out of their mouth or whatever it is they're doing. So you kind of just have to fall here. And you can hold up in order to make them fall slower, down to make them fall faster, and you can use that to make your way through the bees, and it's basically just going to be a series of those throughout this level. So let's make sure, and wow, that was pretty close, almost got chomped there by that thing. And again, your hitbox is kind of weird here. You feel like sometimes you get hit if like the parrot touches it, which makes sense, but it makes you feel like you're really taller than you should be. So here, if we hold up and to the left, you can just barely make that little gap there. And then we can jump off of Squawks or whatever his name is by pressing A, I believe it is. And that will let us get off into this bonus game. So now we've got our familiar green Squawks buddy again, who's going to help us fly up through here and get the token at the top. And we get to take him out with us, so finally we get to use the regular Squawks instead of these purple guys, right? Nope, wrong, he goes away. Be a little too overpowered if you had him, I think. So we'll have to fall very carefully through here. You can get the bunch of bananas if you want, but it's not really worth the risk. And it's very important that you know that holding up will make him fall slower. Well, that wasn't quite what I wanted to do. Maybe we can just... There we go, just cheese it a little bit, that'll work. Yeah, it's if you ever watch speedruns of this game and you watch them do this level, it's pretty insane because there's basically just a rhythmic pattern of, you know, direction presses you can press to get through here without ever taking damage whenever you fall. So if you ever watch a speedrun, they basically just ignore the parrots and fall full speed without getting hit. It's something to watch. I gotta say, it's pretty impressive. Alright, so we gotta destroy all the bees this time. You know, parrot was in the name, so I don't know what else you expected if you weren't expecting to see Squawks this much. So unfortunately, we don't get to take him with us again. One last shot there. I got to actually save the TNT barrel, which was interesting, but I'll chalk that up as skill. That was totally intended. Yeah, things start getting tricky there. That was really close. I couldn't quite figure out which direction to go in. And we can, yeah, see, there you go. There's an example of like the parrot being in the hitbox. It's, I don't know, it feels strange. I'm not used to having to keep up with like that tall of a character, you know? Alright, so down we go. Thankfully don't get eaten by this thing. That'll give us Dixie back. Roll through those guys. And let's see, it's kind of, yeah, this is one of those cases where you can't really see what's below you, so it might require a couple like kind of leaps of faith. Only to find that there is, in fact, a ledge below you. Alright, so we gotta do a parrot-to-parrot transition here. If we were in Tony Hawk, that'd get us a ton of points, but... Oh, well, too bad. Alright, careful. Oh, man. I did not need to go for that, especially since I missed the O. Oh, I got hung up there. Alright, I think we're done. So we can go on past here and get to a hook on that side. And we'll get an extra life because we, you know, could use a few, I guess. The game's getting a little harder, so it's worth stockpiling them. Alright, so let's go back real quick and we will take on Swankies one more time. Well, we're going to do it more after this, but one more time for now. And of course, the name of this area of the island seems to be a very common question. We've already mentioned that it is Gloomy Gulch. How many little wasps did the end of area guy break up into? 5, including the one in the middle. Gotta make sure to count that. And of course, like, whoa dudes, his name's Funky Kong, right? Come on. It's an easy question. Haunted Hall. So the forest level with the blowing wind is Gusty Glade. Remember that G alliteration. And how many wasps hover about? That's a kind of tricky one. You might have to go look at that. It's the name of the Crimling Island. This is Crocodile Isle. Alright, the final one, which this is not the name of an area of the island that you've been to, Crocodile Canyon. Your swordfish buddy is On Guard. Stabber is also a great name, Stabber. How many map globes are there on the shelves? Again, one you might have to either guess at or go look before you can complete it, but the answer is 2. Got all our lives, and we are free to go. Alright, getting close to the end of this world, let's go to Web Woods. And Web, if the last one was Parrot, you may be able to figure out what this one involves. So let's get past all the rats here, get Diddy back. And we can head up if we want. Just kind of an alternate pathway, I guess. It's not really too much to see around here, but the K is there, so going for that might be worth it. Now, these green guys you gotta watch out for because they will actually swing twice. The first time they won't get their sword stuck in the ground, so if you try to jump on them after that first swing, you'll end up getting hit. The first time you see them, there's no way you would know that, so you might get hit there a few times. So we make our way up here with a partner up and get a couple lives, so it's worth doing. Oh, yeah, I could tell I was gonna get hit just by the angle there. So this time, instead of using the spider helper that we ride on, we are just going to transform into him. Again, kind of like the, what was it, Rattle Battle back in Crimquay, Third World. So we're gonna be the spider for a while here. It's a good idea to just like keep shooting out those projectiles whenever you're walking, just so you can make sure you get whatever's in front of you. You don't have to worry about it too much. And of course, there's going to be a lot of this building webs and jumping stuff. So if you haven't gotten good at it by this point, well, you're going to get a lot of practice here. Alright, we'll jump down where the bananas are, and then cross this big gap here. And be careful taking out this guy, don't jump into his hook. Shoot all the bees. That was really nice and rhythmic, wasn't it? Whoa, yeah, watch out for the really high jumping guy there. And again, with the good music, this is one of my favorite tracks. So it's a pretty neat idea that they can make this level basically just have like no floors for the largest part of it. Wasn't quite where I wanted to put that web. Sometimes, I don't know if I mentioned this before, but like the R button on my controller doesn't work 100% of the time, so I'm pretty sure I have mentioned that at some point, but if you see me just shoot a web like inexplicably far off the screen, then that's pretty much what happened. Alright, yeah, those guys, you gotta make sure you get them with the first shot before you jump. I got a little bit hasty there. I kind of rushed it too much, got hit. Alright, I hear our Kong friend in the barrel there, so let's shoot this guy, make sure we have enough room to get up. And we can get the end down there if we want by shooting a web. But let's not really worry about it, because who really cares, right? So, there we go. Just go, okay. I don't know what happened there. I think I was not paying attention to where I was on the ground, so let's not walk off the cliff this time. And actually shoot webs this time. So you gotta be pretty careful. Don't go forward too much, otherwise you'll get a whole bunch of these guys on the screen at once. And also, again, don't rush it too much. If you don't get them, just wait and jump over them if need be. Alright, so this guy here is going to shoot a cannon, and as you can see, this cannonball is traveling super slow, defying all laws of physics as we know them, really. And we want to follow it back. You can't quite see it because it's off screen, but there is an arrow made out of bananas pointing to the left. The camera kind of, let's see if we can get down a bit. There we go. So if you follow it all the way back to the left, it'll blow a hole open in the wall. It's pretty clever. I like that one quite a lot. It's one of my favorite hidden bonus areas in the game. So we've got to get our spider through the thorns here. So So let's make sure we don't accidentally jump into them or anything. Take these guys out. And we can do a little bit of a jump here. But at this point, what I like to do is just put the webs so close together that I can walk on them, because I don't want to do any jumps with those thorns overhead. So we make it to the end, get the token, and we're good to go. Alright, and of course the red bees we cannot destroy, so we're going to have to make our way around them here. And again, it's a good idea to just make the webs close enough that you can walk when you've got a danger overhead, because you never know just how high you're going to jump. Alright, so let's make that. It's not a good place to put a web. There we go, it's a little better. Just make sure you are standing out of the way of where they're going to be. And once again, we've got another arrow pointing to the left, so we'll have to remember that. Wait for these guys to jump down and shoot them. Alright, so we've got another cannonball guy. We're going to jump over his cannonball and again let it go back to the left. The arrow's kind of hinted at that. And we've got our second bonus game in much the same way as the previous one. So this time we've got to collect the rare logo of stars. They always do something self-referential in one of these bonus games, you know, so this time it just so happened to be the rare logo. There was a Nintendo game, like a mini game in the first game where you had to spell the word Nintendo, so. And I think you also had to spell the word rare, if I remember correctly. I think that was like a multi-stage one, but. Oh yeah, so this one is really tricky. Gotta time it just right to get that DK medal. It barely pulses for like 1/10 of a second, so you gotta time that out really well. And the unfortunate part is if you miss that, you have to do the entire level again. So nobody wants that. Try to time it right the first time, right? Alright, so let's save once more. We are 66% of the way through the game. We're making pretty good progress here. Of course, there's only a couple more worlds after this, so let's go ahead and take on the boss, Creepy Crow, and we will be one step closer. So of course, this guy is the ghost of the first boss we fought. Donkey Kong Country, of course, the original did bring back the same boss types, but this time it's a little bit more clever. We're actually fighting the first boss's ghost. So it's much the same way. We want to hit him with stuff. We just destroy the little crow buddies that he summons, and then on the way up, he'll drop these eggs on us, so gotta make sure we're not in the way. It's pretty simple to just go back and forth. Then once you reach him again, you basically just repeat the process. We gotta avoid all these guys. Then when the physical one comes in, we want to hit him and get the barrel. And we just stand here and wait for him to run into us. Not very smart, is he? That's probably why he's a ghost. So this time the eggs are going to come at us from both directions, and this one can actually be a little bit tricky if you're not paying attention. It's very easy to get hit, especially by one of the ones falling down while you're climbing upwards, so just pay attention. And one more time we're going to have to do this. These guys are coming a little bit quicker this time, but still really not quick enough to be a problem. Alright, so we get the barrel over here. He runs into us one more time. And we kill the dead guy, and then we get the token on 61st, and we are done with this world. And next time we will move on to K. Rool's Keep. Till then, thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.